How has your week been so far? We hope it's been going smoothly. But if you're feeling overwhelmed, let's shift that energy today and break through some barriers. We're tackling a problem almost everyone faces at some point: procrastination. And while it's tempting to think procrastination is simply about laziness or lack of motivation, the truth is much more complex. Before we dive into unraveling the real cause, let's first ground ourselves. Now, let's get real. Procrastination isn't about laziness or poor time management. It's not even a sign of weakness or a lack of ability. Some of the most successful people, entrepreneurs, engineers, and even researchers struggle with procrastination. Why? Because procrastination is a mask for something much deeper: stress and fear. When you're juggling multiple tasks or feel overwhelmed by expectations, putting things off isn't about avoiding work, it's about avoiding feelings. Think of procrastination as a pressure valve. When there's too much going on and you're stretched thin, your brain seeks relief by shifting your attention elsewhere. It's not a flaw, it's a coping mechanism. But when you let fear drive your actions, procrastination quickly becomes a vicious cycle. The more you delay, the more overwhelmed you feel. The more overwhelmed you feel, the more you delay. So, let's take a closer look at what's really happening beneath the surface. Let's break it down. When you procrastinate, it's often because of one of two fears. The fear of failure. You're afraid that if you try your best and fall short, it'll confirm your worst thoughts about yourself. The fear of success. Yes, this might sound odd, but sometimes the idea of succeeding is just as terrifying. Why? Because success brings new expectations, and with those, a fear of not being able to maintain it. What's happening is a tug-of-war between your desire to succeed and your fear of not being good enough. And in this battle, procrastination becomes a way to keep your self-worth intact. If you delay and fail, you can blame it on not having enough time. If you succeed despite procrastinating, it means you're more talented than you thought. It's a win-win, except it's not. Let's look at procrastination in a different light. It's not self-sabotage, it's self-protection. Your mind is trying to shield you from the pain of failing or not living up to your expectations. It's easier to handle the idea of falling short because you didn't try hard enough than to give it your all and still not measure up. This mindset, though comforting in the short term, keeps you stuck and prevents true growth. Your worth isn't tied to perfect outcomes. Consistently doing good enough work is more valuable than striving for perfection once in a blue moon. The truth is, perfection is an illusion that traps you in the cycle of procrastination. Think about it. Has your opinion of someone you care about ever been shaped by their achievements alone? We doubt it. So why would you hold yourself to a different standard? Procrastination doesn't stem from a lack of motivation. It's actually the opposite: overmotivation to avoid discomfort. When two powerful forces, fear and motivation, clash, they cancel each other out, leaving you paralyzed. This is why, despite having big goals, you find yourself stuck, scrolling mindlessly, or avoiding the very task that matters most. You're caught in the middle, feeling like you're pushing against a wall that won't budge. And what happens? At the last minute, panic kicks in. Suddenly, your fear of missing the deadline overshadows your fear of imperfect work, and you scramble to get it done. This last-minute rush is a familiar feeling, and while it might work for short-term goals, it's unsustainable in real life. Eventually, it catches up with you, draining your energy and confidence. The key to overcoming procrastination is to stop viewing it as the enemy. Instead, see it as a signal, a message from your mind telling you there's a deeper issue at play. When we understand why we're procrastinating, we can start to unearth the roots of our fears and build new foundations that support our true goals. Ask yourself, what's really causing this stress? What am I afraid of? Is it that I won't be good enough? That I'll disappoint myself or others? Naming your fear weakens its hold on you. And once you identify it, you can start to build new, healthier motivations. So, what's the alternative? How can you motivate yourself without relying on fear? You need to reconnect with your true why. Why do you want to achieve this goal? What deeper purpose does it serve? If you base your motivation on rewards and recognition alone, you'll always feel pressure. But if your motivation is rooted in something personal, something meaningful, the work becomes lighter, more enjoyable. Take some time after this session to reflect. Think of a task you've been putting off. What's the real reason behind it? Write down your thoughts. Then try reframing it. Instead of focusing on the fear of not doing it perfectly, focus on the impact it will have or the satisfaction of simply starting. Remind yourself that good enough is better than not starting at all. One powerful technique to break free from procrastination is the 5-minute rule. When you feel stuck, tell yourself you'll just work on the task for 5 minutes. That's it, just 5 minutes. Often, once you start, you'll find it easier to keep going. Make it small, make it manageable, and you'll soon find yourself making progress. Until next time, be gentle with yourself and take things one step at a time.